Gaming is for friends.
I thought this music was so epic.
Oh, stuff it.
Hi, I'm Ant.
And I'm Woody.
And we are
Anything Gaming.
Come and enjoy the show.
And then it goes black, and then I start talking. Hi, welcome to Anything Gaming, episode 48. I think we're up to big episode.
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
yeah, we're going.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, good series here. We're gonna have to talk about our 50th episode.
I know.
Do something.
Someone tell us a suggestion of something you'd like for the 50th episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about boss fights today because I think boss fight, we haven't talked about that, and that's fun. But first of all, how are you, Woody? What's new?
Doing good. Trying to beat the heat. It's quite hot here in New England right now. It reached above 100 Fahrenheit. That's quite friggin' hot. That's, stay indoors. So next to the air conditioner as long as you can.
Yeah.
But other than that, doing great. I've been playing a lot. I just got Tony Hawk 3-4. Before we get into this, I'm just gonna say that I'm liking the game. It's Tony Hawk. There's nothing wrong with Tony Hawk, and I'm not so pissed off about the soundtrack because I really wasn't expecting a lot of the soundtrack to come back anyway with licenses and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like they got AC/DC in the last game. They cost money. I don't think they're gonna spend that much, but they really neutered 4's career mode like badly. And it sucks. Really? Yeah.
Oh, because I remember playing 1, 2, and I thought how great the sound. Like they got a couple of the old, I know, probably of the soundtrack. 50% of them were the old songs from the original game, and then 50% were new songs, but they were very much in the same style of the old songs. And I really, really liked 1, 2 because of that. Like it had Machine Gun Kelly in it, which I thought really suits. Like if they were making that game now, that would be
right.
Perfect.
Yeah, like
that's a skater.
That
song.
would be on there. Yeah.
And so things like that, and so they did the same thing for 3-4. I haven't had a chance to play it yet.
No, and once again, the music's not bad. It's good, and there's actually a decent original soundtrack. Because in today's day and age, you need a streamer mode. Yeah. So that's to avoid copyright, whatnots, what have you. But so far the music's fine. But I wasn't expecting the soundtrack. And it must be said, in my opinion, Tony Hawk 4, the whole Tony Hawk series has a great licensed soundtrack. Like even the newer ones when they were coming out would still have awesome. But Tony Hawk 4 especially, I still think has one of the greatest a licensed soundtrack playlist of any game I ever played. Yeah. Like it's high up there. It's as high as Vice City. It's as high as not as many songs, but just the amount of
Vice City was
fun.
Great. So,
right? Yeah. I think the original Tony Hawk 4 had maybe 2-3 dozen songs. I honestly don't. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but they were all bangers. Like every single one of them. A couple here and there. I'm not a punk person, but there was really good enjoyable punk rock on this album, same with other genres too. So and the remastered one sounds like it has more of that. I haven't listened to much of it, but I'm sure I'll get to a couple catchy songs that'll stay stuck in my head and I'll look up. But
what was the pinnacle of Tony Hawk? Because I remember playing 1, 2, and I thought 2 was. I didn't get to 4 because I thought it kind of started in decline by the time we got to 3 and 4. So
because my favorite game is 4 out of all of them. Only because it kind of ripped off another game. This game called Aggressive Inline came out in between 3 and 4. Right. It was actually made by the people who are going on to make BMX XXX.
That's one of our favorite. Together we can agree that was one of the greatest games ever made.
Oh, what awesome, beautiful. But yeah, so what this did was it didn't put you on a timer. You were in the level and you discovered things to do.
Right.
And even though Aggressive Inline did it first, the engine, it didn't control or flow as well as the Tony Hawk games, the Neversoft games. So once Tony Hawk got a hold of that formula with 4, I fell in love. It almost felt like skateboarding Mario 64.
Yeah.
If that means anything, it felt like that, which makes my disappointment in the fact that now it's just a regular Tony Hawk for the record too, I do like 2. I like 1. I like 2. I like 3. I liked all of them up till Project 8, which was the 8th one. That's really when I stopped playing. I was like, all right, that's enough. Like I was done with it at that point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And yeah. So you said that they've nerfed it a little bit, is that what kind of was your favorite part about 4?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's exactly what I liked about 4. I mean, it felt different. Like just the way you, were able to discover new. It was a very exploration-heavy Tony Hawk. Because you didn't have the 2-minute time limit. Yeah. You only did like if you floated in and you saw someone like, and then they give you the mission, hit a high score. Here's 2 minutes to do it, and then you did it. You know what I mean? But other things too, like the skate combo, other jump this, grind this way on that. It was just a much more fun way of doing what you were already doing, except now there was no time limit or anything like that holding you back. And for 4 in this game, they just strictly turned each level into a 2-minute, complete the things to do, and then a lot of time to do it. Still the levels themselves, although they also removed 2 levels. Yeah. The 2 secret levels from the original Tony Hawk 4. So yeah, fun game.
Oh, well, one last question. Did you? I saw like the little trailer for it. Did you get the skins like the Ninja Turtles?
Yes,
and the guy from Doom.
Doom. Yeah. Here's the thing. I did get it, but I'm not playing as them.
Do you have to buy them, or are they unlockable?
I got the deluxe edition. Okay. So I'm glad I got and I will play as them probably when I do my second playthrough. But I've been playing as the same skater since Tony Hawk 2.
Who is that?
Like I always. Do you ever Fear and Loathing Las Vegas?
No.
At the time, it was one of my. I was like, I was an elder, like late teens, early 20s, and experimenting. So it was it's a movie about a guy who's like driving through Las Vegas with his attorney, and they're like completely on drugs. Any kind of drug that was available in 1971, they're on, and just like going through Las Vegas. Great movie, great book. And the main character I would always make in the skateboard, he's like, it's Johnny Depp. He's bald. He's wearing a visor cap. He has like this polo shirt on, cargo shorts, tennis shoes.
So it's not.
And
so
usually
you've decorated the character to be this. It's not.
Yes.
Yes.
And I've been this character. Like I created him in this one. Every time I get a Tony Hawk game, that's for some reason that's who I make. But I do after I'm done playing that career, then I do move on to I'll move on to Doom. I'll play as Officer Dick and the like. But I kind of went on a tangent here. I do want to talk about boss fights.
Whoa. Let me introduce you because I was actually playing, or I actually finished Split Fiction, which is the sequel
that's
to
one I want to have,
it's a sequel to It Takes Two, and that's where I got the idea for boss fights because there's some pretty epic boss fights on that. But before we get to the boss fights bit, I thought I'd talk about the game itself. Like, it's a very fast-paced kind of. It's a very fast-paced game. Do you know what the story behind Split Fiction is at all?
The only thing I have about Split Fiction is a question.
Yeah.
Is it a co-op game?
Only co-op, yes.
Only co-op.
All right. That's it's the same. They've done it really well though. Like, so if you buy the game, you can then tell one of your friends to download it, and they can join you on the Friends Pass. So only one person needs to buy the game; the other person gets it on a Friends Pass, which is fine.
It struck my interest because it was one of the Nintendo Switch 2 games available on release. I was looking like, okay, if you don't have Mario Kart World, what else you got to play? And then I was looking. I was like, oh, and I looked into it, and it does look very intriguing. Yeah. But I don't have anyone to play it with, so I just I kind of pass it up.
Oh, you could. Well, you've got a young lady friend, like.
Is it split screen? Can we play split screen?
Yeah, it's only split screen. It's Split Fiction.
Oh, it's only split screen.
It's Split Fiction.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm intrigued. Holy shit.
Whoa.
Yeah. Bringing back couch gaming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's all about couch gaming, but then they've also got like a online 2-player mode because like a lot of people don't couch co-op these days. So
yeah, no, I get it.
But even when you do,
you know what I mean, make everybody happy.
Well, even if you do like over the internet version, you still have a split screen version on your TV, and they have a split screen version on their TV. You know, so which is a bit weird, but it makes sense later in the game. Because of the boss fight. But the whole story behind the game is that there's two characters. One character's writing a fiction book about like dragons and medieval times and all that kind of stuff. And one character's writing a book about sci-fi adventures. And they both fall into this machine together. And then all of a sudden, their only way out of this machine is if they can like reenact their books. And so you do a little bit of medieval, a little bit of sci-fi. So it's very, like, it keeps you on your toes all the time because you're forever swapping genres and different kind of bosses. And yeah, it's very interesting like that.
No, I mean, it does sound intriguing now that I know I can just do it, you know, and that probably better with me and Tess, you know. I think we stopped playing The Witness, you know, and that was really, because it does seem more like it's a 3D game, explorative, things like that.
Well, the good thing about this game is that, like, say you do really badly. Like, I was playing with my 10-year-old, and he's just a genius on playing games, and he'd jump across platforms, and then he'd be waiting for me at the other side, and I'd die 3 times, and then all of a sudden it'd spawn me up next to him, so I didn't have to continue to wait. It'd be like, oh well, you're hopeless, but he's not, so we'll reward him for being the good player, kind of thing. So it kept on dragging me through the gaming sections where I was having troubles. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not bad, but there's other sections where I did it really quickly and he did it really slow, and it would just bring him through the game instead of making him do this one sequence. But then there's other parts where you have to work together to solve a puzzle and stuff like that, where you might have to do something on your side of the fence and I might have to do something on my side of the fence, and then it works out together. But this is where the boss battle kind of got me intrigued, because so the whole game is basically how you see our screen at the moment. The whole game is basically what we've got at the moment on our screen, where there's one person on one side and one person on the other side, and that's the game. And then you get to the final level, which is the boss battle, and then all of a sudden you can cross over onto my side of the screen. And you're like, whoa, what? Like, we've been hiding this all game, and then all of a sudden we can just merge and do, like, I'm kind of intrigued. Could we do this before? Like, was I missing something? And then the boss is kind of tearing the fictions apart, and all of it gets so epic in that manner, because then it becomes like all these different versions of co-op that you never thought existed. Like, you're fighting the boss, and one of you is in a handheld device like an iPad, and the other person's just tilting the device. You can just see these two hands doing this, and the other person's trying to jump in the iPad while you're twisting the iPad to use the motion sensitivity. It's incredibly, like, unusual for a co-op game to have like a boss with all these little weird intricacies. So yeah, I found it quite enjoyable.
Nice. No, well, that sounds like an awesome. Now, was this the final boss, or is this just bosses in general in the game?
It does have a boss at the end of each level, and those bosses are quite very like Mario-esque, where you've got to kind of, you know, the typical Mario boss fight goes like along these lines. You dodge, and then the boss gets tired, and you can jump on the boss. Yes or no? Like that's pretty much a Mario boss in a nutshell.
Right, yeah, like that's your traditional. Yeah, that describes a lot of them. Like, there's a couple that change here and there. Yeah. And like, I would say, like, see, the boss fights of back in the day, like, they were more epic in like almost presentation than really game. There were some very clever ones, stuff that did, but mostly it was like shoot the guy, dodge, shoot the guy, dodge.
Yeah.
You know, Mega Man, one of my favorite series is. And there's like each character has a pattern that you got to follow.
Yeah. And it's all about kind of almost like that David versus Goliath kind of moment where the boss is always bigger than the character, so you've got to find their weak spot and exploit that. And that's kind of the whole boss battle thing summed up in a nutshell.
Here's one of my favorite boss fights. Have you ever played any of the Time Splitters games?
Time Splitters? I don't think I've played them. No.
The team that made GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64, they worked on Rare. Yeah. They worked for Rare. Yeah. They split off. They became a company called Free Radical, and they made the Time Splitters. If you play it, heavy GoldenEye influence. Yeah. Clearly, the people that were awesome series. Now the games involve time travel. Mm-hmm. So at the third game, one of the bosses, you enter a room, and there's this huge boss, and he's got 4 like different weak points on it. But while you're in there, you have you in 3 different time frames fighting those things, and you got to concentrate on that. Once you destroy it, you see a portal, you go into it. Now you're the second guy, and you see the guy come in the room like that. And then the third guy now like it's stupid, and it doesn't like it's one of those things that at the time I was just like, wow, that's cool. It's still just a first person shooter. You're just shooting at things,
but it's just the way it messes with your little. It feels so epic though when they do that little animation like that makes and that's what like this game did so well too, because all of a sudden the boss was pulling the 2 screens apart, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like, oh, hang on, are we playing in like a 5th dimension here, or where are we actually in the game? Because we're clearly on these 2 screens, and then he's in this other world, and we're trying to get to him, and I love that kind of. It feels so epic, doesn't it?
No, yes. It just like certain little things like that can make the difference, even if what you're doing is fairly like simple and you can figure. Some boss fights. I mean, I've come across boss fights where like I would have to look something up. I would have no idea what to do, how to do, where to do it. You know, I mean, nowadays they kind of point to better.
The boss fight, for me, the boss fight should be a combination of everything you've learnt in the game. You're going to use those abilities to take on the boss. That's what it should be. And then some people are like, oh, you know what? You're taking on a boss now. How about we add an extra attack in that you haven't had the whole game? And you're like, well, where did this come from? I don't know how to use this. I haven't had training or anything like that. Like, and they're the boss fights that I really hate. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, no, I love it. The stuff parrying does that. Like the game will be like, press this to parry, and like you almost forget about it because you're just like killing everything and people are easy. And then you get to that one boss fight where you have to remember, oh, I got to tap X at that point.
Yeah,
and hope for the best.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that like this one here was probably the first one that I've kind of played in a long time, and it's just like, oh shit, this kind of blew my mind a little bit. The one that I remember before that really kind of I just thought it was big is always the God of Wars seem to do like boss fights like no other. Like you just like, where the hell is this fight going next? Like all of a sudden I'm fighting on this god in the middle of the sky, and then he throws me across the universe and I'm fighting on this little planet over here, and then he comes down and smashes me, and it's just so epic, and you're just like, oh yeah.
And they've been constant with that.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is God of War 3. Mm-hmm. It opens with the boss fight of Poseidon. You're like fighting Poseidon. And, you know, it goes through the standard thing, you know, first you're attacking from here, you know, Kratos being badass, even though Poseidon's, like, on this, like, serpent thing, like, riding the waves and stuff. Finally, like, Kratos gets him, like, on a patch of land, and Poseidon's beaten, but Kratos ain't done. Then the camera, instead of being third person, this is the OG God of War, so it's regular third person, it goes to Poseidon's viewpoint. Yeah. Like, now you're looking through his eyes. And then you press R2, and it prompts you to press R2 Kratos right hooks him right in the face.
Yeah.
Knocks him down. Then it says go L2 and left hook just right to the face. And like you're in his view, locked down. Finally, you have to tap X. And that's choking Poseidon, holding his head. And this is the cool part. And you're looking through him. It tells you to push down L3 and R3. Mm-hmm. So you click them down. And at that point, Kratos holding Poseidon's skull pokes his thumbs right through Poseidon's eyes. So like when I did, so you do that motion with the controller and that part, like, and it's the game starts with that. It's not like it makes you work towards that, context sequence.
Oh, well, that was my first God of War, and I remember playing that and just going, "What the hell have I just bought into?"
Yeah.
And then I loved God of War ever since then. Like that was my introduction to God of War. So I was like, yeah, I know how epic that was. That was amazing.
God of War. Now I remember the first God of War didn't have that many boss fights.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, but after that, they started putting in boss fights. There were a couple that were just generic pains in the asses, but a lot of them were when it had to be a unique boss fight, it was.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just love how epic they are. They always feel so big. They don't feel that. I think that's the thing with the boss fights too. I don't think they have to be that hard. Like the God of War ones felt satisfying to do more so than being super hard. I know that there's a lot of those late 90s games in particular where a boss fight was all about perfect timing of hitting this button at exactly this time. And geez, I'm so glad we got rid of that. That was the worst thing that ever happened to boss fights.
I mean, I'm sure some of the boss fights in some of the Souls games are just super brutal and just every fight's is a boss fight more or less. But you go back in time, there were some boss fights that just drag you down. And beat you. Well, I mean, okay, so I gotta give a shout out to this boss. It's hard to call this a boss, but it's the final opponent in the game.
Yeah.
So if it's like a fighter or something else, the final opponent should be the boss. Mm-hmm. Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
All right.
Yeah. Now, first off, it was just cool because the final boss of a game was a real person, Mike Tyson. It was an actual guy. It wasn't some made up fantasy super. No, it was a real boxer, and you had to fight him. And it wasn't just so much you had to fight him because a lot of sports games did that already. But just the fact that it's still one of the most brutally satisfying, tough, euphoric boss fights you can ever get yourself into. It's still and it's hard. Taking out it's one of those things that if you gave me 5 tries, I could probably take Tyson out. But there's no way I'm taking him out the first time. I'm gonna have to get it. It's like a groove you have to program into your brain to knock him down for 3 times in a row. You're not gonna knock him out. He's too strong, but you can knock him down 3 times in a round.
I just remember how he was such a badass in real life when that game came out. He was literally beating people to death, biting their ears off, all this kind of crazy shit. And you're just and now I have to take him on in a game. He was it was almost the scariest thing that you as a boss you could take on.
Well, I mean, this came out in 87. So at this point, and you can go ahead and just look up on YouTube Tyson's greatest knockouts. His matches would be all of 2 seconds.
Yeah.
He just come out, just punch the dude 3 times, done.
Yeah.
Just scary.
This was before Jake Paul paid him out to fight him on Netflix.
Well, yeah. Right. This was before the face tattoo.
Yeah.
But still, just I will always appreciate any boss fight that's based on real characters, even if it's not the best fight. Assassin's Creed especially had you it would have you fight actual people, and I always found that just so funny as in a boss fight sort of sense.
Yeah, it was actually really funny that because all of a sudden you're taking on these people and you're oh, I just jump off a building and insta kill them, and then I get to this boss fight and the guy's pretty much, he might be a tiny bit bigger than everybody else, but he's not massively bigger, and then you're So why are you so hard? Like, why is this so much work to kill this one particular guy? Like, I'm an assassin, a trained assassin, and I'm trying to take down this guy that's a little bit bigger, and like it shouldn't be that much of a thing. Like it. I don't know. I thought that they felt a bit not as epic as a lot of the other boss fights could be. So I agree.
What do you think about boss fights? Or let me try to frame this better. If you have a major character that you have to get past, you have to defeat, but you don't actually attack. Sometimes you just have to run away for a certain period of time. You know what I mean? Like you actually have to take on a passive role. Do you consider that still a boss fight? And I got an example in my head just because I want to get your opinion on it.
Well, is that what is it, Little Big Planet? I think you spend the whole game running away, and then at the end you finally get to kill the guy. So, I mean,
that could work. Yeah, something like that.
I mean, I think it's still a boss fight. I guess it's like a cat and mouse thing. So then you feel satisfied when you actually take him down at the end, or her down at the end. Once the end thing comes, I like that in some ways because it introduces you to the character, and you have like this. You genuinely have a disdain for the character through the game, and you're like, I can't wait to beat you at the end of this game. I mean, Astrobot did that really quite well too. You're forever meeting the character through the game, and then all at the end, you're like, yes, I finally get to beat you up, and I'm hanging out for this.
What do you think about games? And this is actually, it happens today, especially with RPGs. RPGs do it all the time. A boss fight where you actually fight the boss, like in different like parts. Like, here's I don't think it's the best example, but I'll try. Whizpig from Diddy Kong Racing. At first, you fight him on the island. And that's supposed to be the boss fight, That's like it's the last one on the list. But after you beat him, you can actually go and fight him on the moon or a spaceship or somewhere in space, and then that's the final time you fight that guy. So, and of course, it's harder than the first time. But are there any boss fights that you like where you actually have to fight a person a couple times in a row? Or even out of sequence?
Oh, well, my big example of that is kind of a little bit different to that, but I don't know. I don't know if I love that so much, but then in this case, I'm going to throw at you Zelda Breath of the Wild. So you fight different stages of Ganon as mini boss fights through the game, and then at the end, it's a combination of all of those bosses you've fought. So you've kind of learnt their techniques, and then once you've learnt that, you get to the end and you get to take them down in one big thing. So I guess it depends on how they got away, or like for what where they lead the story. Like when they get knocked down and then they just like disappear, and then they're like, oh, by the way, I'm over here. I kind of hate that. But if they kind of like get hit by a sword and they're kind of bleeding out, and you're like, oh, well, like I guess they could have went to hospital or something and patched themselves up and got more powerful. Like that's okay, I guess.
Okay, so in RPGs, I always find RPG bosses in particular fascinating, because especially turn-based RPGs, because gameplay-wise, it's just like fighting the dudes. It's menu-based. You'll definitely have to strategize better because the boss is going to have a lot more hit points and a lot better attacks.
Yeah,
but for the most part, it's the same, input. But those all the time, you have plenty of guys. I remember in Paper Mario. Junior Koopa, I think his name is. He's just a little Koopa in an egg. You fight him like 8 times in the game.
Yeah, but he's the one that would just go, and then he'd disappear, and you're like, oh, okay, we're going to have to do
it. Like, I'll get you sometime. You usually have to fight him right before you have to go to the next area of the game. Like, he'll just catch up to you because he swam to you. Yeah. And like, now he has a spike on his head. Now he flies. And you got to like worry about that. It's kind of ridiculous.
I find it's like low game development. Like, that's low hanging fruit game development. It's like, how could we just? We could have just changed his color and called him something else. Like gave him a red shell or a yellow shell or like changed him up a bit. But they don't do that. Like why? I don't know.
Another RPG that does that is Genova from Final Fantasy VII. Like, okay, so I could be wrong, but you fight this thing 4 times.
Yeah.
It's Genova Birth, Genova Life, Genova Death, and Genova Synthesis.
Yeah.
Could be wrong on that. If anyone wants to correct me, that's fine. But each time it looks like it's clearly, it kind of keeps the same shape, but it's a different mutation. If that makes any sense.
Yes. No, I know what you're saying. I like that though when they change into a different mutation. I've seen that in a few games where like it's got like an entity in it, and then all of a sudden it goes and I'll go and take over that tiger and I'll take that down.
I'm actually shocked I didn't mention it, but did you play Resident Evil 2 by any chance?
Yes, of course I did. Yes.
Resident Evil 2?
Yeah. That's my favorite of all the Resident Evils. I've decided.
The scientist, you fight him like 3 times in the game. First you fight him when he's like still just like, he's still wearing his coat. Yeah. Then you fight him again when he's mutated. Then you fight him again when he's really mutated.
Yeah, I like that though. That's an evolution of a character, and I like that as a boss fight. I think that's great when you kind of meet the easy version and then the medium version and the super hard version. I like that. I love that in a game. Cool. Yeah.
Yep.
So I like that.
Here's a question I present to you.
Oh.
What is your most proud boss fight? Like, what is a boss fight that's pretty damn tough, and you're happy or not even tough, just maybe just a regular pain in the ass. There's some boss fights that like it's time, mostly in patience, not really like difficulty. But which one of you like is a feather on your cap? Like, yeah, I earned that.
It was actually Call of Duty, the most recent Call of Duty, in the zombie area, the second map of the zombie area, the Terminus Easter egg. Me and my buddy, right? We started playing this every night for about 2 months straight, and so if anyone hasn't played that, to get to this zombie battle, you have to get there. You have to do like a whole heap of sequence things. Like you have to go unlock a suitcase, which will give you a key. That'll give you then you have to go and collect 3 of these things from these different islands, and you'd have to go and put them together. And then eventually you'd make these bombs, which would open this door. And then you get to this boss fight. So to get to the boss fight on each run would take probably about an hour and a half. And then you've got about probably about 15-minute boss fight to get this boss down. Right. And we played every night for about 2 months straight to kill this boss so we could get this stupid skin in Call of Duty. And it was like, after I finished that, I'm just like, we were like shaking, like we were just like so excited. We're like, we wanted to go and we finished at like 1 a.m. or something like that. And we wanted to go and wake up our wives to tell them how we'd beaten this boss. That's how excited we were. But I think it was because we'd worked at it for so long that once we finally got it, it was amazing. And I don't know, doing it with a buddy was like also like really, really like good as well. What about you? Is it as epic a story as that?
I got a couple, but actually, I'm surprised I didn't mention this earlier. Remember when we were actually, I'm not gonna tell that one. That's it's an alright boss. I'll give a shout out to it. Prison City, the final boss there. Okay. It's a recent-ish retro game. Mm-hmm. Like it came out just like years ago, but it looks 8-bit. Tough, but the final boss, the Spirit of Detroit. Like, that's what it's called. And it's a giant statue. That was a good, I thought that was a decent boss fight. But as far as, boss fights that, I had to kick and scratch and fight to just get there. Not just to get there, but just to get through it. It's easier now they played it. But in Super Mario RPG, you fight an enemy called Kulex. It's kind of like an optional boss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's its own topic. Just the bosses that you don't have to fight.
Optional bosses.
Yeah. And no, I remember when I finally was able to beat that. I was a kid. I was 13 years old, just getting into RPGs at the time. But once I finally took that thing down, oh my gosh, I was so happy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you had to go and tell everyone, I just beat this boss, and everyone's
I vanquished, that day. And that sticks out in my head. Which is funny because today, knowing I know and how to play RPGs, tough. It might knock me out, but it's easy in the remake. because now you can do like group attacks and stuff. So, but still fun. But yeah, no, I still pat myself on the back on that one. It was a good fight.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with boss fights. Like, how many times did you take on that boss to win the boss fight?
Oh man. I think I may have gave up my first playthrough. I think I gave it a shot my second playthrough and was able to like finally take him down. Because then okay, so do this here, don't use this here, be prepared for this, and hope for the best, which, worked. Tips, get the lazy shell, use that. That's really the only tip you need. But yeah, there's plenty of boss fights that you just get beat over and over again.
Yeah, but
one of them,
I feel like you have to have that thing where you get like, say, 3/4 of the way through the boss and you feel like you can achieve it.
No, I think if you get to the 3/4 point, at least then that you can beat it. Yeah. Like if I can't even get a quarter way through, I gotta stop and rethink. It's like, okay, I'm clearly doing something wrong.
That's
assess what you're doing wrong and stop doing that. That attack's not working. Jump. Going back to Prison City, at the very end, that Spear Detroit boss I was telling you about, there's a part where like holding its arms like this. Now, throughout the game, you can, wall, like, ledge grab and all that. But we didn't know you could do that on that boss. So we fought him like 5-6 times, just trying. This is on my Friday Night Game Night channel, and we just couldn't do it. And finally, like in real time, if you want to watch it, you can figure out like, you grab onto his hands.
That's what I'm saying. Like bosses where they introduce a new mechanic in the boss, that is the worst thing you can do to a player.
And admittedly, because like you do that throughout the game, to get to ledge. But at the same time, I don't really remember it being used for a boss fight up until that point.
Okay. This is probably when I want to go to things that I hate about boss fights. When you beat a boss down to like a really small, they've got like 10% to go, and then their health bar refills, and you're like, well, why do they have a health bar? Why do we do this? That is the most annoying thing in a boss fight. It's like, it's so close, and then
the worst. Yeah.
I don't know why they did that in boss. Whoever thought of that is like even worse than the person that thought of how to put ads on the internet. Like, that is probably the thing that drives me crazy.
It's like, again, that always happened to me in RPGs. Like, you even see it, like, all right, good. I've taken that many hit points off him. He'll be down. Nope. High potion. Boop.
Yeah.
It's like,
and then
like, don't do that.
That's just not fair. Like, you've done all this work. No. Like, just give him a bigger health bar to start with. So then you can, like, take less, make the health bar double. The boss. You got the other boss fight battles where they've got a health bar and they've got a shield bar, so you have to take the shield down to nothing, and then you can do damage to the health bar, and then the shield bar will refill. I don't mind that too much because at least I can see where my progression's getting to.
Yeah, it's less, but with the other one, they're just deceiving you at that point
because you're not sure how far through the boss fight. How many times do I have to get him down to almost 0? And then how many refills does this boss have? I don't know.
One thing I don't like in boss fights is time limits. You ever get hit with one of those? Like, now you got to take this person out in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Or like 5 minutes or 3 minutes or what? Like, seriously, I've seen this low as 2:30 where it's like, fight this thing. You better be quick. And it's like, it just gets you down.
It's just, it's depressing. Like, there are things to ruin a boss fight. Tell me, have you ever done a boss fight where you've killed or taken this thing down and then they become your friend and then they'll help you out for the rest of the game?
Oh, sure. Hell, going back to Castlevania 3. You fight Alucard, you fight Grant, you fight Sylvia, and after you fight them, it's like, you're strong. I shall join you. And then you can play as them for the rest of the time you want.
But do you feel like you can trust them fully in the game. I don't know. That's what me as a kid. I'm just like, I mean, we were just fighting 10 minutes ago, and then all of a sudden you got my back. Like, I just don't see it. Like,
yeah, I mean, sometimes that happens revert. Like sometimes you'll fight a boss, who you'll defeat, and then later on at the end of the game, they'll help you. I'm gonna butcher his name, but Cypher. Or Sepher, the blonde-haired fella from Final Fantasy VIII. You fight him fairly early in the game, and then that's more or less it for till the end.
Yeah.
And I think he helps you out with something, at some point. I don't know how or why, but then that happens, and it's like, all right, well, you suck anyway.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's a lot of boss fights that... I think there's been a lot of epic boss fights. I remember some of the Sonic ones, my early memories of boss fights, especially Mr. Egghead. That's not his real name.
That's one thing I liked about the original Sonic games, is that technically the boss was also always Robotnik. It was always Dr. Robotnik. But he would be in a new thing. He'd be in the ball that crushes you.
Yeah.
He'd be in that machine that does that. He'd be in like the UFO looking thing. He'd be in a bubble. All these things. But it was always him.
Yeah, I didn't mind that though, because you were destroying his machine.
Right, yeah.
And that was fine, And then once you destroyed his machine, it would fly off and you get a new machine.
People talk about Mario games and like how good their boss fights are, but if you go back to Super Mario 1, where it was Bowser in every the end of every world, and he might have a different pattern or something, but it was still fighting Bowser, and wait till he jumps up and go past him. So with Sonic, to actually keep it the same way, you're fighting Robotnik, but at least it changes it up. It's always a different boss fight. I like that a lot.
Did you ever play Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart? Because I know I've convinced you to play this game.
Well, no, see, here's the problem. Oh, no. I did start playing that because you recommended it to me, but then shortly after that, you recommended me to play Astrobot.
Oh, shit.
And, I can really only think of like one 3D platform, which, by the way, has got to go back burner because Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out later this week.
It came out today.
Oh, it came out today?
Yeah.
Shit, I know what I'm doing on my lunch break tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow for you. I can buy it today.
Maybe, yeah.
The 17th. So yeah.
I thought it was Friday, but it might be tomorrow. Tomorrow's my Thursday.
Yeah. Okay.
I started playing Astrobot instead. And to tell you the truth, I liked Astrobot better.
Oh, Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart. The first probably third of the game isn't that enjoyable. I don't know. Like, you have to get to this. It opens up. It's one of those games that opens up a part way through.
It wasn't bad, and it's solid Ratchet and Clank gameplay that I've come to know and love. But Astrobot at least kind of changes it up. There's still some similar attacks you do, but like as with just 3D platforming games in general. But it's just a new character. It's fresher.
What I'm saying is Ratchet and Clank, I think you had to push through that first part, and then you're like, oh my God, this game is amazing. And I think that's what the game didn't do very well. It didn't really start you off. But I will talk about the boss fight, and I wanted to know how many boss fights you've done like this, where the boss fight, so you know the thing in Ratchet and Clank, you got all these rifts and you go through like from level to level by connecting them through rifts, which take you to different parts of the galaxy and all this kind of stuff, right? Yep. So the boss fight actually then starts off where you get to in the end, and then you fight your way back, fight the boss, and you go back through every universe that you've already previously gone through fighting the boss. So it's kind of like a recap of the whole game in one kind of epic boss fight.
Okay, to be fair, that was very common back in the day. Like, I'll cite this example easily, Mega Man.
Yeah.
When
you would always bring it back to Mega Man. How can I turn this back to Mega Man?
You go through Wily's Fortress at the end, which is like 5 or 6 levels, but one of the levels is just a single room. All the 8 robot masters, fight them, and then you can move forward.
But this would take you into different environments. You're in a 3D world. So I know that those old 2D platformers definitely did do that to some extent. But this, I don't know. It's kind of like you're watching like a documentary on TV, and it's like, oh, by the way, we've gone through this world and that world, and yeah.
I wish I could remember it, but I think a first-person shooter I played had a mechanic like that at one point, where like you're going from location to location during the fight.
What was that?
But I think it's like in your head or something.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
I don't know. I forget what game it is.
Yeah, this
lost to time.
But this game, I think Ratchet and Clank, it did it really well. Like it's such an epic boss battle because it kind of like, oh, I remember doing that world. Oh, I kind of want to go back and try that again. Blah blah blah. You know, it had that vibe to it, so it's quite well done, isn't it? And I would say that Astrobot does have a really great epic boss battle in the end, which I will not destroy for you. Yeah, but. Yeah, that's a lot of the bosses in Astrobot are really, really well designed as well. Have you done any?
But like, in Ratchet and Clank?
No, in Astrobot. Astrobot.
There was. I don't think it was I think it was more of a mini boss. You know what I mean? At
the end of the galaxy?
No, I didn't get that far.
Oh my god! Get playing, boy.
I move on, man. You know, it's tough for me to stick with something nowadays. I'm greedy. I want to play everything.
Everything all the time now.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, I hear you. I get you. There's not many games that grab me for this much.
One game that did grab me was Mario Kart World. I did do all the cups and all the knockout tours and all that stuff. I played Rainbow.
I don't really have a great love for that game.
Great Rainbow Road, by the way. One of the best in the series. Super enjoyable. Love it. Loved every second of it. Oh my God. I hope DLC comes out for it soon.
Did you get any feedback about my negativity towards that game?
Nah. Online you mean? Online? Yeah. No. People have not been mean to that opinion online. Okay. Now in the meat space, like, you know, my circle of friends who support my burgeoning, you know, content creating career and watch my stuff and throw in likes and whatnot. Oh, created some ripples.
Okay. Hi, people.
Yeah, no. Hey, teach your own. You know, there's certain games I don't like. I don't like sports games. I'm not huge into strategy games, stuff like that. You know, so who am I to judge myself? Can I
just add some more controversy to that?
Sure.
Okay. I don't like sports games either, and that's one of the main reasons I don't like Mario Kart, because it's technically a sports game.
Like racing, competitive.
Whoa.
You don't like competitive games.
What's car racing? Car racing is a sport, is it not? When they go to the F1, they call it a sport. They put it on the sports channels, do they not?
But I think true sports games are the sports games that are like simulator sports games. Like if you play Madden, you can't just like get the, you know, machine gun power up or just do it. You have to play within the rules. If you made a kart game that was strictly a kart game,
then it would be.
Then that would be a sport game.
Yeah, true.
You know, like I mean, I'm sure there's a gray area. Mutant football. You ever hear of that game?
Yeah,
it's football, but everyone's monsters, and you can use explosives and shit in the game. But there's still rules.
Yeah,
there's still.
Yeah, that's true.
Things like that. You know, I mean, I don't know where it ends.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Oh well, I like to stir the pot sometimes. You know what I'm like.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But yeah, like I said, that's the main reason why I haven't been. I just played Mario Kart just because you know I like it. So I was playing through it, and now Donkey Kong Country's coming out, so I'll be able to not Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Oh,
I love the name of that. I love
it's
that
got
name.
some really, really high reviews. Like it's getting 9s and 10s all over the place. So
it's the people that made Odyssey. From what I heard, it's the same team that made Odyssey.
I heard it was like what do you call it? The predecessor or the spiritual sequel of Odyssey.
Yep. And yeah, I always take, no matter how glowing, I'll take grain of salt. Even I'll give the same thought to the bad reviews as the good reviews. But from what I've seen, like if I could make a subjective opinion, I'm hyped.
Oh, my mate's super hyped. He's trying to convince it. I said I can't buy it. I'm trying to finish this game off. If I go and buy that game, that's just like 80 hours I lose from my life.
Oh yeah.
Like I can't go and do that right now. I've got to play little small games that don't entice me into playing for too long.
And I gotta say this about the game. It's odd that Nintendo's given a lot of attention to Pauline, which I always considered kind of like an oft-forgotten character of Nintendo. But like she's been more prominent. Like she had a role in Mario Odyssey, and now she's going to be in Bonanza. A different form, but it's still Pauline.
I think it's kind of the gender. They want to... Mario... I mean, when I was younger, how much Princess Peach was in the game?
Right.
And they plus brought her in to more and more.
Pauline... Yeah, she does have the connection to Donkey Kong, you know what I mean? Because she was there from the beginning. But Donkey Kong's place in the Mario universe has always been kind of like odd in a way. Like, I always felt like he's more there with Mario just because Mario came from his franchise. You know? Like, that's where he came from. So anything Donkey Kong related instantly goes to the Mario universe. But at the same time, they always kind of, like, when you're playing any of the Donkey Kong Country games, you don't just see like Yoshi, or like the Wiggler show up. It's always just Donkey Kong stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. When you're playing I'm gonna go on. I'll finish the show with some controversy. Why not? I don't like Donkey Kong as a character that much. He's not the most enjoyable. He's not the most likable character. Is that like his go? Like. Well,
you gotta remember he started out as a villain.
Yeah, I know.
So he's got that going against him.
I guess it's like it's kind of like that. Okay, this kind of really sums up the whole boss battle thing. Where I said when you beat a boss and then they join your team and then they all of a sudden they're helping you. That's how Donkey Kong feels to me. Like I don't feel like I can completely trust him as a good guy.
Also, I'll play any game of his. Like, they're all solid. All the Donkey Kong games are solid. Even Donkey Kong, some people crap on
Donkey Kong Country was amazing. It was revolutionary for its time. So I do think that.
Even the new ones are really good. I like the Return series. So I'm sure this will follow through with that. But I will say this. Any game where you can play as Donkey Kong where it's not a Donkey Kong game, I never touch him. He's too big. Like if it's Smash Brothers, if it's Mario Kart, if it's Mario Tennis, he's too big, strong, or fast. Depending on what game. But like he's just so unruly, too hard to control. So I never really picked.
Well, I always used to play as Diddy Kong. I used to much prefer playing as Diddy
Kong.
Yeah. He's just
smaller character.
Donkey Kong is always so big, and you feel like you'd be running along when you were playing Donkey Kong Country. I'd swap over to Diddy Kong because I felt like I was agile. I could get to the places I want to get to. I was having all this success with Diddy Kong, and then I feel like Donkey Kong was like, oh, he's so big, jumping through that little gap. You had to be so much more precise. Donkey Kong was always bad like that for me. I didn't love that. So.
I get it. Yeah, and actually, let's bring this back around to boss fights real quick.
Okay.
Final thoughts about boss fights. I can't get enough of them, you know what I mean? There have been boss fights throughout history that have just been, just cool. Anything Metroid Prime related.
Yeah.
Always gave you good boss fights. The Zelda series gave you good boss fights. Even games like Shadow of the Colossus, where every enemy was technically a boss fight, was awesome. So I'm glad that the idea of the epic boss fight has been around so long and is continuing to be around.
I don't know. Okay, I'm going to finish it off with a question just to break everything up. Where can a boss fight go that it hasn't been? Because, I don't know if have we seen the pinnacle of boss fights? I don't think boss fights have been getting any bigger since, I think the best boss fights were 2010 kind of thing.
I think, once again, to go back to what I was saying about some certain boss fights, sometimes the boss fight itself isn't the mechanic of how you defeat the boss. Maybe that's just secondary to how you get to that boss and what defeating that particular boss at that time means. There's been plenty of boss fights that have been Resident Evil 4, Krauser.
Mm-hmm.
That's just quick time buttons. That's nothing. But with the way it's framed, with the way it's shot, the dialogue, the emotion, even though it's Resident Evil emotion, the emotion, all that makes that an incredible boss fight, even though it doesn't really do that much objectively. So I figured as long as people are able to create engaging characters, and also engaging antagonists to those characters, I think boss fights will never not be enjoyable. Now, you will still get boss fights that are somewhat slogs, like shoot, jump once, duck once, shoot, jump once, duck once, things like that. Maybe not that simple, but damn close to it. But as long as you can just engage the player, don't confuse them, don't piss them off, challenge them, but don't piss them off, and overall give the feeling that you have to get past this character. You want to see what comes up next. As long as that feeling will be around in games, whether it's like live service games like Destiny or something, I don't know, when you also got to fight this huge thing. I remember that was, I don't know, I thought that was a cool boss fight at the time, even though I'm not really huge like that anymore. Whether it be just like weird retro trips where it is a pattern based, fight. The main purpose of the boss fight, in my mind, is to leave you wanting more.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much. I think you summarized that really well, because I feel like that's probably what a boss fight has to do. It has to be there as a big final hurrah. Like you think of the big action movies that we used to watch, like Terminator 2, for example, one of the greatest movies made. The boss fight in that at the end was so epic, and so it just you felt satisfied after watching that movie. And I think that's what video games have to do as well. You have to have that satisfaction of you've just been so far and to get that boss was there. It's a journey of getting to the boss as well as then beating the boss, and then maybe what's after the boss, what the boss is holding you back from, which is like the critical points of what makes a great boss fight. So yeah,
right.
I agree.
Absolutely.
With that. Yeah. So that was one boss of a show, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, no, that was a good one. We went off tangent sometimes, like in the beginning with Kong. But again, that's the beauty of anything gaming. We just talk about anything gaming.
Anything gaming. Oh, speaking of which, your favorite game, RoboCop, is finally coming to Game Pass, so I'm going to give that a spin this week.
Yes. Oh yes.
And then we can.
I mean, don't expect a quick shooter.
A lot. I am expecting beyond the most, because the amount of episodes you talked about that so much on this show. If it's not the greatest game I've ever played, I am going to be disappointed.
Do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. At least watch the first movie before you see it. Like, have you seen RoboCop 1?
I don't even know where they stream that these days. I have seen RoboCop 1 back in the day, but I don't. That's the worst thing about streaming stuff these days. Just on another tangent here. Where the hell do I find the movies? Like, can't they just keep them on one service instead of like switching them
and that's
all
the thing
about?
too. You're in Australia for your region, so I'm sure like the movies available to you are like completely different to the ones available to me.
So exhausting. Anyway, so you recommend I should go back and watch the movie now?
Definitely watch RoboCop 1. If you got time, watch RoboCop 2. If you got a little bit more time, actually give the remake a little gander. It's different, but it actually wasn't that bad.
I'm surprised that the game came out when it did, though, because normally games like that come out with a movie on the side or something like that. So I'm surprised it came out when it did, because it kind of didn't come out with anything.
Actually, I'm going to get into this too. When it comes to boss fights, the final boss fight in the game is a pain in the ass. I'm just going to let you know that right
now. So I don't
He's
get that far into that. Don't go to the boss fight, because
all the other boss fights in the game aren't that bad, but the last one pain in the ass.
Okay. So don't.
Sorry to ruin that for you.
No, that's fine. I don't think I'll play that far. I've got a sneaking suspicion it's not the greatest game ever. Someone over there is a super fanboy of RoboCop more so than the game was great. That's what I'm guessing.
I'm just gonna say this: I'd buy that for $1. You don't get it, but you will get it if you watch the movie.
Let's go then. Okay, thank you for watching Anything Gaming. We had fun and we appreciate you all. Yeah. Anything? Goodbye.
See you later.
Do the wink again.
Do the wink? Okay. How about this? Thanks again for watching.